actually get in a fight. And then translate that to the mosh pit. I mean, like, yeah, you got to be a madman to be out there. That's probably why the chair was there, was to guard against everything.
It's tactical.
There was a dude crab walking too, which I
in a pit.
Yeah,
that seems reckless.
That's break your fingers, man.
Yeah.
I talked to somebody else about this, and they were like, "Yeah, dude." It was Sam Talent, who's from here. He was like, "I was at a show the other night, and someone was fucking crab walking here too." So I can't figure out whether it's like an epidemic, like a thing, or
I think Zoomers are just like cooler than us.
that's probably true, man. Ben,
Crab walking. I have a shellfish allergy, so I can't crab walk. I'm not allowed to crab walk.
Ben, do you ever go into the mosh pit?
No, I've never been in a mosh pit, but I did like to dance.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I first turned 21, and that's what I preferred to do.
Uh-huh.
But I hurt myself a couple times on the regular dance floor, the non-violent dance floor. Yeah. You know,
Was it a regular dance floor, or was it like one of those like Saturday
tension.
Night Fever like light up dance floors?
Yeah, no, it's just regular dance floor. But I mean, I think there's a lot of pent up tension, both like anger and horniness that are happening in regular dance clubs. Whereas a mosh pit, there's actually some transparency to what's going on mentally and physically.
Yeah,
and just a little bit of homoeroticism.
Yeah, an ability to express it and be vulnerable in a way, right? Because you are allowing yourself to get hurt, which is one of the tenets of vulnerability.
Oh yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
That's like some Adam Curtis shit right there. Like I just
it is,
heard floaty music in my head as you were saying that.
Put some floaty music over that.
I always just thought it was like, oh, I'm just violent horny.
Cue the floaty music.
Hungry, horny, lonely, angry. They're all kind of like vacancies that need to be filled up or satisfied, and that's why you go through a breakup, you have this emptiness, so you eat a lot or you fucking drink a lot. You're like there's always some sort of displacement or filling of stuff that you have to do.
Oh, you're just only supposed to do that after a breakup?
Yeah.
Well, it is technically still after a breakup forever.
Yeah, until you're with somebody else, you're going through a breakup.
Thank you for assuming that I've ever had a girlfriend. I appreciate that.
I like the idea that you you show up to work and you got like a black eye and you're all banged up and shit, and people are like, "Oh fuck yeah, dude, did you go to Turnstile last night?" You're like, "No man, Celine Dion." Went out and fucking ballroom danced my ass off. But I know what you mean though. I'm thinking about moshing a lot lately, actually, because ever since this crab walking thing happened, I just got in my head and I've just been like, "What is this?" Like I just never think about what the fuck this thing is, and it's really funny to me because it's like, if you were to go around the world and like look at everyone's culture, you would see, that everyone dances. Like everyone's like, we make this style of music, and it is like this thing where we sort of have all this like flirting and shit and catharsis, and then like white people's thing is just like, whoa, you're just flailing around and like,
Who says we don't have culture?
It's the most unrhythmic thing ever, It's like defiantly anti-dancing, really.
Oh yeah. our last show in Texas, man, those boys go hard. Like you can find the set. It's Short Fuse at Boozers. It was in Corpus Christi.
Okay.
Literally the whole time. Like there were a couple times where we thought about stopping playing. Like we turned around because it was like, is somebody about to shoot somebody? Like they just beat the shit out of each other.
Damn.
But they're all boys. Like it's. I don't know. I was so confused. I was like, okay, cool. That's what you guys do? All right.
Yeah. As long as it's consensual.
Exactly.
And you guys are...
It's edge play, You
should just put on a gimp mask and just go in there and just, hurt me.
When was the first mosh pit, or where did it happen? Was it like a singular event, or was it sort of like,
I think it was Caligula. I can't say his name for the fucking life
Caligula?
of me. Yeah, his 31st birthday. They fucking went hard.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been drinking mimosas all morning. I don't know why I thought I could say his name.
I mean, it's very, it's primal. It's and it seems to probably is it hardcore? Is that where?
Well, yeah. So I mean, as far as I know, it used to be like called like slam dancing,
right?
Okay.
Like, and I mean, it all kind of originated from, really like New York hardcore.
Yeah.
But I mean, shit just kind of bleeds over.
Yeah.
everything cool comes out of New York, you know.
Yeah, it's
Kinda
like
does.
late '70s punk that then
Yeah.
turned into New York hardcore.
Exactly.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'd place it. To imagine where the first time someone was just standing in at a show and they were just like, "What is this feeling that's overcoming?"
I need to hit someone in the face right now.
I'm gonna go run around and
It definitely was. It started after a breakup, right? Like
Oh,
a
yeah.
person,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
or
true.
something happened. Like it wasn't,
yeah.
you know.
There was a guy who was like stress eating pizza and stuff.
I was like, I don't know. He saw some guy in the pit that thought it was like, oh, he was talking to my girl and hit him, and it was like, oh, wait, sorry, that wasn't him. Sorry, no, I was just dancing. That was just a dance. And they're like, oh yeah, oh yeah, this can catch on.
That's kind of cool. So, basically, like the past year and a half or so, there's been a bunch of incidents where, like, are you guys familiar with like the genre black metal? Mm-hmm. Like,
Yeah, burn
Yeah.
down a church, paint your face. all that
exactly.
shit.
There happens to be like a good amount of crossover with like Nazi type shit, you know.
Yeah.
And so
They have a sign on High Dive that's like there. It's not welcome because there was somebody that was booked there.
oh yeah,
from that. Yeah.
But so, anyways, there's been like all these like metal sucks articles or like just these different metal sites that have like been doing articles about these different bands, like talking about their different Nazi ties, or there's been this whole like focus on it.
Yeah.
And all these different bands have been like canceling tours and shit and blah blah blah. And like, I mean, personally, like, yeah, fuck those guys, you know, like you shouldn't have done a picture with a swastika. But the thing I've been noticing, like in the metal community, I have a lot of friends who were previously like non-politicized, you know, like they're just metalheads,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But because of all this stuff, like they're almost like adopting and becoming sympathetic to fash ideas and posting like fash stuff, because really the first like political idea that they've dealt with and are talking about is like, oh, hey, this band that I like isn't coming because something like, oh, maybe they were racist 12 years ago, you know?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and so and this is like, dumb people are going to be dumb, but when you think of the sense, like, political activism is one thing, but when you're doing it in a community that's not really political, none of those people are thinking in that way, you know, what's the end result of that activism, of you getting these people blacklisted,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay.
Because
I think I know exactly what you mean. Okay. Wow.
I mean, because it really needs to come like from within the community and like explained in a way
Well-
that they understand it. But if it comes like from the outside, then it just feels like an attack
Exactly.
on
And
the
then-
thing they love.
What you're describing is something that I kind of believe in, and that is, you know, something that people are trying to figure out right now in all this online left shit or whatever. But it's something that, like, you have to be really careful when you fucking you draw this line here or whatever. But you're talking about a cultural system that creates reactionaries,
Exactly.
by them being what, you know, the definition of the fucking word reaction is reacting to this thing that is not doing its job in terms of fighting
Yeah.
fash,
So-
right? And
so-
so that's like the theory behind like the dirtbag left thing is, you know, don't be this shitty version of a leftist. Don't be like a scoldy, you know, SJW, or in this case, don't cancel someone's favorite band's show because all that's going to do is cause them to then go, well, fuck this now. I'm with their fast shit.
Exactly. Well, you know, and it's not like and I'm sympathetic on both sides, but this is just devil's advocate, you know, just stuff that I've noticed.
Yeah.
It's not like those bands were coming to like hand out Mein Kampf and try and what, you know.
Yeah.
It's like this was strictly their goofy like putting on makeup and, you know,
Yeah,
what black
yeah.
metal guys do.
Yeah.
And so then you have this whole group of people, like, and a lot of these friends that I see posting this kind of fast shit now, like, I mean, a lot of them are Mexican, a lot of them are people who like would agree with Bernie Sanders' policies if you like addressed it in that way.
Yeah.
But now,
if he put on the black metal makeup, and came out.
yeah. But now, like, their entire understanding of, like, if I say anything to them and they know it's coming from a leftist perspective, their entire that's just all out the window now.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like, well, fuck, like, this is a whole group of, like, working class individuals who could be very sympathetic to these ideas, but because we went on this whole cultural, like, kicked in the head.
Kicked in the head, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think I know what you mean. I mean, like, I think we really painted ourselves into a corner in terms of all these, like, young Nazis and shit because, like, you know, there's all this alt-right shit it happened, clearly.
Yeah.
People have already went crazy with it, and doesn't really seem to be, like, you know, some fucking deprogramming operation we can do to just pull every shitty dude out of the, you know, their parents' basement and like give them the Clockwork Orange MK Ultra treatment and make them like normal again, right?
I don't know. It seems like kicking them in the head might work.
Oh fuck! Actually, I haven't figured it out.
You know, the one thing, Sam Cedars' libertarian debates on the Majority Report.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what when I was a few years ago, I was a lot more sympathetic to that stuff. But that's kind of what deprogrammed, like, not fash, but just like, I wasn't really political, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, fuck the government, and, you know, I want to smoke weed, libertarian, quote unquote.
right. I'm kind of same thing.
Yeah, but interacting with those people on a level where, I don't know, you're civil and you can just address how fucking stupid their ideas are. I feel like there's a lot of value to that.
Yeah.
Like the Zizek Peterson debate, you know, I mean.
Yeah, that definitely probably pulled some people that were, but you know what it is though? It's people that were like already
Not
like
shitheads.
Well, no, I think you were still like figuring shit out.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to convince somebody once they've decided that they're a fucking hardcore this or that. Like,
See, one thing though too is young men especially will really dive into an identity because we're searching for one, you know?
Yeah.
Like head first. But
well, there's like
without even really understanding it. And those things change. Like, I mean, just think back on your life, like kind of the different masks you put on or different, you know, periods you had. So I don't know. I do feel like people can change, especially young young men. Like a lot of these dudes, part of why they're so extreme and acting out so much is because they're just young, confused dudes living in this fucking hyper-normalization, just neoliberal hell world that we live in.
Right. There's also a crisis of masculinity in that, like, there's just nothing for you to do with your, like, male lizard brain now that we don't need you to go fucking kill shit and fuck shit up, you know?
Exactly. Hope you like Ubering.
Right. Yeah. So, like, you know, this is obviously a fucking dumb movie that a lot of bad people like, but that is kind of what Fight Club was about, you know? And it's funny that Proud Boys like Fight Club because it's like they become anarchists at the end and shit and whatever. But, yeah, I mean, that's why shitty young men just will grasp onto any identity because it's just like you just got this big fucking vacuous hole inside of you and it needs to be filled like something.
Oh, yeah.
Although I think I just figured it out. I think we have Fight Club to blame for all these fucking ANCAPs.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
There, that website, oh god, Free Thought Project, I think.
Oh yeah,
or no, one of those ones. The main article writer goes under Tyler Durden.
That sucks.
So it's like anytime I need
fucking kill me.
I guess I'm not going to show you guys my only tattoo.
No, what is it?
Is it the yellow and black fucking ANCAP ball?
It's a Tyler, yeah.
You have a Tyler Durden tattoo?
No.
Don't tease me.
TD. That's what the TD stands for.
That's what TD Bank stands for.
Well, there's this Antifa kid who hangs out here. And he's a really nice guy. He's a really sweet guy, but he's definitely in the position of what you're talking about, where he's looking for an identity. So he's very, punk hardcore image, and he's kind of street, but he still like hustles gigs around here and tries to be productive, and he stops drinking to kind of whatever, because when he is drinking, he's very combative and confrontational, but he's Antifa. And then the stuff happened with Georgia and women's reproductive rights and stuff, and so there was people out on the corner like they always are, like ACLU or whoever, talking about it, and he noticed that this couple with a baby, he started kind of like yelling at them about like pro-life or pro-choice stuff.
Yeah.
Like basically he was kind of misinterpreting like them having a baby or something, walking by with a baby as a violation of women's reproductive rights.
Right.
Like, why are you guys having kids? Like, so he's
I'm on board with that. Hashtag no dads.
He was very confrontational with them, and he's just kind of how he is with people. But then the guy came back with his baby and was like, you know what? He's like, you don't know who you're fucking talking to, because we did, on our first try or whatever, we did have to get an abortion, not because we wanted one, but because of these other factors. And you don't know me, so don't speak to this. And so it's an interesting dialogue that happened, right?
Yeah.
Like two people on the same side, but everybody has their own little color or twist to their own perspective, and everybody will adapt all of their indoctrinations that they had politically, socially, up, with every conversation that they're having, especially like people that like, oh, now I have a voice, I have things that I can say that people will listen to, or if I talk about these things, then I can be listened to and validated, right? So I think just the simple fact that, whether it's fascism or Christianity or far left stuff or any of that, there's the there's just the stripped away algorithm of wanting to belong, wanting to be validated, wanting to be listened to. And if you're listened to more by these people who are maybe not so good ideologically or proper, but they're giving you some empowerment, I think it's those things that are intercepting Luke from the dark side to the fucking force.
Yeah.
And